Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Valo Microsoft Ignite show. We are at episode 3. I hope everybody's weekend was fantastic. Over last week, we've had a number of guests on the show as we build up to Microsoft Ignite in the next couple of days. We've had Daryl Webster, Cameron Dwyer, Helen Blunden on the show, just giving us an overview of their sessions, what they're looking forward to with Microsoft Ignite, and also just a number of other different topics. Helen also had a special guest appearance on her episode. So if you haven't looked at that, go and check it out as well. Now, for everybody tuning in live, hello and welcome. As I said, episode 3. If you're watching the recording, I hope you enjoy it. Now, today, we're lucky enough to have 9-time Microsoft MVP, Rene Modery, join the show, where we're going to have a chat again about his sessions, what he's looking forward to from Ignite and everything that's happening in his world. So Rene's just on the bench at the moment. I'm going to bring him into the stream and let's welcome him to the stage. So, Rene, how are you?
Hi, good morning, Darryl. Doing well, thank you.
That's good. Now, where can we find you right now?
So I live in Singapore. It's 9:30 a.m. here. Just started my morning, brought the kids to school, and just joined this broadcast here.
Now, we were just having a chat earlier. Tell me a bit about what's on your wall behind you. Tell me a bit about what's on your wall.
Yeah, so I'm a huge comic fan. I've got a lot of comics which are just around the corner here, but I also got a couple of graded comics, so they've been slapped and some of them have been signed, so that's part of my wall back here. Some of my more, well, I want to say prized possessions, but more of the ones that I like the most, the ones that I'm most proud of, you could say. Yeah, so
very good.
Yeah,
very good. Now, tell us about your role. Your title is Collaboration and Productivity Tools Project Manager. Bit of a long title, and you're working currently at a company called Group M. So tell me a bit about your role, what the day in the life of Rene looks like.
Yeah, so Group M is the world's leading media investment company. So we're helping our very large clients to place their advertisements. Obviously, I don't have much to do with our core business. I'm in the supporting business, basically supporting my colleagues as part of their daily business. And support meaning I'm working obviously with that long title, simply said as I'm the APAC Office 65 project manager. That's a shorter title. So I'm helping my colleagues when it comes to any kind of collaboration and communication projects, initiatives, tasks, efforts, etc., that are usually handled on Office 365. So that might mean colleagues want to set up a Teams live event. They need some guidance. I help them. There's, somebody wants to develop a new app, or basically they've got a problem they want to solve. They think of doing an app or maybe buying an app. I might help them figure out, should we buy something? Should we build something? Evaluate those things. Maybe it gets developed on Power Apps, and I then help run that project in a way. Those kind of things are the things I'm doing on a daily basis. And like I mentioned, I'm the APAC guy. There are obviously counterparts of me in the other regions as well, but I'm helping support all of Asia Pacific in that capacity. So really Office 365 all day long.
Very good. Now, I'm always interested in finding out how other organizations, especially internally, are utilizing the 365 platform, especially now with remote work and the current state of where everybody is at the moment. So what are the main tools of the platform that you guys are utilizing day in and day out that's helping you work in the current situation?
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is that our company already decided to go mostly cloud only a couple of years ago. And while that's obviously something that was ongoing for quite some time, so when I joined beginning of last year, that was still an in-progress thing. It really meant that the whole company was more and more moving towards not caring about, okay, do I have access to something, or where is something located and can I share it with somebody or not, but rather you have that global platform that everybody can access. And that also basically means for us, yes, we can easily set up a new team, for example, within Teams, because just a new project or initiative happening, we're basically making it possible for our colleagues then to get that started straight away without much complication, so that they can run whatever they want to do. Very often considering, for example, that what the colleagues want to achieve when they collaborate with each other, it has to happen within a very short time frame. So just an example, I mentioned media investment. That might mean we might want to pitch to a company. We want to do something, but that has to happen within a few days. So they have to collaborate on something, meaning really a presentation pitch. And obviously, that's the perfect case. Hey, you put up a new team site, they put in their presentation deck, and all those people who need to contribute to that presentation, they can just jump in straight away, make their changes, etc. That's, you could say, the most common thing that we see these days when it comes to working together. Other than that, obviously, the whole platform sees a huge usage right now, as the majority of the company was working from home. We see a smaller shift now again towards working in the office again in some countries, but other countries like Singapore, for example, are still mostly or completely working from home, meaning, those collaboration and communication tools that are part of Office 365 are heavily used. And like I said, we see constant growth in those numbers, and request for me basically to help colleagues with it.
Yeah, and with the people that you're talking to outside of your company, you might be dealing with other departments or organisations or things like that. How have you seen the platform, I guess, help facilitate? Is it a similar thing that you're seeing outside of your company as well?
Yes, actually. I mean, when we look at how we work, obviously, we're not just working internally, but like every other organization, we work with a lot of partners, customers, vendors, consultants, etc., etc. So obviously, there's a whole huge network, not just within the company, but all around the company as well. And the idea is then we don't want to actually stop that communication and collaboration internally, but very often then you want to bring in those external. So again, same thing again, what I just mentioned, you set up a team site. We actually allow that you can bring in an external and let that external person then also communicate and collaborate with the corresponding team, for example, easily. The idea is then, yes, we can provide that central location where we know it's secure. You can be sure that nobody else who's not supposed to be in there can see things or so. But you want to bring in those externals, no issue there. You bring them in, you basically can do anything you want with them. On the other hand, obviously, just one more comment. That obviously also means we want to make sure that that communication and collaboration needs to remain secure in a way that we know when we bring somebody in, they obviously need to verify, of course, that they are who they are. So regularly, they need to confirm basically their identity. So what we always also doing then is just making sure that whatever is happening, obviously, it remains on you could say, on a confirmed identity basis. So we're not working with somebody anonymously, but we know we're working with a certain person from a certain company together.
And how are you controlling or governing that process, like the creation of these sites or teams and things like that? Does it go through a process for somebody to be able to create these, or how is the rollout of those governed?
Yeah, like I mentioned, so we don't actually want to be the bottleneck, because we have around latest number was nearly 60,000 SharePoint sites. So that includes pure SharePoint sites, migrated SharePoint sites from older platform, but also sites that were set up, for example, as part of newly set up teams. And we don't want to actually stop people from creating sites, from having that possibility to just set up something up quickly and right away invite somebody to really work on something. We don't want to stop people from doing that. But obviously, on the other hand, as I mentioned, 60,000 SharePoint sites, that's an awful lot. And we know that we have to do basically a cleanup. We need to verify that those sites are still needed. Same for Teams, for Office 365 groups, etc. So anything that gets created easily, there has to be a certain lifecycle management. I don't want to say that's our weak point right now, but it's something that we are still working on improving, actually. So we didn't ignore it completely. There are some smaller processes in place, but we're also actually working on getting things some other things in place, some processes and tools in place later this year and beginning of next year then, so that we can also ensure that if something's no longer needed, can it be deleted or so? Can we remove it? Does it need to be archived? Those kind of things then, that this is also taken care of. Because what we also want to avoid, obviously, is that everybody can create something, but what if everybody creates their own test team and then we've got suddenly 40,000 new test teams that never go away? That obviously sounds like a horrible thing, and we don't want that to happen either. So the whole lifecycle management is, like I said, in progress right now. Some processes are basically, as we're speaking, getting prepared for.
Yeah, I think test sites, or a site or team with the word test in it, is pretty common, I would imagine, across most organizations. Now, I think there's probably going to be a lot of companies in a similar boat, I would imagine, especially with the current state. They've rolled out Teams, or they've rolled out 365 in a fast manner because they've had to. So there's going to be you're not going to be on your own there. There's going to be a lot of organisations in a similar boat where they're going to have to do some type of tidy up when things get back to a little bit of normality anyway. Now, let's turn our attention more to Microsoft Ignite now. Now, you are participating in a table talk called Extreme Digital Transformation Stories from the Community. Tell us a bit about that session. What can we expect when we attend this session?
So as we've seen, basically this year has been quite different from what everybody expected. So with everybody going into, or a lot of people going into lockdown, starting to work from home, there were a lot of changes that happened much faster than expected, or that had to happen much faster than anybody could have even planned for. We see that internally, like I mentioned, my company, we see a huge growth in Teams and SharePoint sites, etc. Another usage basically within Office 365, and we saw that starting extremely since March, when basically some countries started to work from home, and we suddenly saw 10 times as many Teams meetings as before, as an example, or I don't remember the other numbers, but you saw a lot of growth when it comes to calls, set up new teams, those kind of things, basically. And the idea is then, it's not just basically one company that experiences, hey, the pandemic actually caused us to basically reconsider what we're doing right now and shift basically what we're doing. A lot of companies have to do that, or had to do that, and we want to basically exchange stories here. What have you been doing in the past few months that you didn't actually expect to be doing, or where you thought, yeah, it's going to take us maybe a year, but suddenly we had to do it within, I don't know, 2-3 months or something like that. So that's the whole idea, providing that kind of stories from the trenches, basically.
Yeah, so I mean, it'll be a good opportunity for people to jump in. They can ask their questions, and it'll be a very interactive session, that one for sure. Now, what about other areas of Ignite that's sparking your interest? Other sessions, other topics? What are the things that you're looking for most to get out of Ignite?
I mean, the main thing that I usually look out for are you could say, the big new announcements. So we always know Microsoft's constantly working on improving the platform in the background, but they're not just improving it on smaller steps, but sometimes you've got those bigger things coming that then usually get announced at Ignite, for example. So what I'm usually looking forward to is then the keynotes. When you look at, for example, what the Teams team or the SharePoint OneDrive team, the Yammer team, all those engineering teams, what have they been preparing in the background right now, and are now ready to announce to the whole world to show. So really, that's what I'm really looking forward to the most, because while we are always happy about those smaller improvements, obviously we also want to see those big jumps where you say, hey, I didn't realize we could do this with the platform, or where you say, wow, this new functionality that's coming up that might actually help us, do our processes much more efficiently than we even thought, and now Microsoft is giving it us for free. Those kind of things, basically, that's what I'm really looking forward to seeing here.
Yeah. So you've worked with SharePoint for quite some time now. I was reading a number of your articles more around the Power Platform and that space as well. So Is that an area that you've had a big focus in recently, and you're seeing the growth in that a lot more?
Yeah, so I actually started looking at the Power Platform, I think 4 years ago. No, it's more than 4 years ago. Now I think. I remember April, May 2016. That's when I gave a small Power Apps presentation here in Singapore at a user group, just to tell everybody what it is. And yeah, people started to look, might be interesting or so. But what we've seen now, especially in the past, I think 2 years, is it's an extremely stable platform. We see that it's extremely functional and capable, what you can do here. And within my own organization, we can see now actually, there's a constant actually growth when it comes to the number of apps that are getting out there. But again, there's a lot of, because everybody can create their own app, there's a lot of test apps again. You also see then actually, yes, there are a lot of actually really, let's call them valuable business apps that didn't really, were not really on any IT strategy roadmap or so, but where somebody thought, hey, that could actually help us here. We're going to put something in place. And obviously then with some proper guidance, then that became a very nicely developed app that is now running somewhere and helps with a certain a business problem, basically. And that's what we really like to see right now, actually, that not really the huge growth where I say, no, we see 20 times as many apps, but rather we see, we now got 10 new great apps that we didn't even think of a year ago or something like that.
Yeah, excellent. All right. Thank you very much for your time today. Really hope your session goes well. We certainly jumping on board and having a look at that session, and also hopefully that you get a lot out of Ignite as well as presenting at your session as well. So thank you again, and we shall end that show now. We've actually got a double header today. We're going to go live again later on this afternoon, Australian Eastern Standard Time, with another episode and a number of other guests as we build up to Ignite. So once again, Rene, thanks for joining, and good luck.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thank you.
Right. Cheers.
Cheers.